First, congrats, Mina. You were named as the chair for the new Prebid Digital to Home Task Force. I'm going to probably throw this one to you first, and would love to hear a little bit about the newly formed task force.
Sure, thank you. So the why of the task force is, if you look at what's happening, we see a lot of parallel efforts that are basically trying to do the same thing. We see media owners trying to build their own systems. We see ad tech platforms, ad servers, SSPs, also trying to do the same thing. But it leaves a little bit to be desired in terms of how these are going to work well together, efficiency, interoperability, et cetera. So we took a look at this, and well, we've kind of seen something happen very similar in other channels. We reached out to Prebid because Prebid exists, and they have successfully addressed this in other channels in the past. Reached out to Prebid, and at the same time, they were very interested in digital out-of-home. And so really, voila, it made a lot of sense. Now is the right time to kick off the Prebid Digital Out-of-Home Committee. And the idea is to look at the Prebid ecosystem in terms of everything, education, software, and teach it about digital out-of-home so that what we're seeing in the industry leans more towards a standardized and a very transparent solution that is proven.
Amazing. So we actually did have a slide here, but it's not up. But just to kind of give a little background, Prebid, Mike, you are the president at Prebid, and Prebid operates across so many channels already. And I think the why now was really talking about the timing of how it worked in other channels. Oh, look, don't go chasing waterfalls. Don't swim over the Niagara Fall either. And the next one, it really kind of gives you a little bit about, but so everyone is wondering, this is Prebid. Won't get into that one because it's a bit long-winded.
Oh, the long-winded explanation.
But I would love to kind of ask you a little bit on how this task force and the work that the task force is doing is, first part is, how will it benefit the supply side, the media owners, the publishers of the digital out-of-home community?
Yeah, so it's simple for Prebid. So we don't make money on any of the solutions that we put out into the marketplace. Everything we do usually starts from, do we solve a problem for the marketplace? Do we solve a problem for the industry? That's where, when Mina and Hivestack approached us, we were already starting to figure out that we were getting a lot of questions from our connected TV partners, where we're in connected TV, about how they can connect and start to utilize digital out-of-home from that perspective of audience extension and a bunch of things that they wanted to do. So for us, it starts with the will of the marketplace. Is there a will in the marketplace and a need in the marketplace to get something done? Then we go out and build a coalition that will actually come and set up the open source software. Some of it Prebid will put our own engineers on. Some of it is donated time. And then we spend a lot of time with educating the marketplace on what the solution is, both the supply side and the demand side from that perspective. Everyone hears header bidding, right? Everyone thinks it's a race to the bottom. It's going to suppress your CPMs, and a whole bunch of other things that go through people's minds when you're mentioning it just gets associated with programmatic, and it's actually the opposite. If you're moving away from like a waterfall scenario into a header bidding solution, it puts all the control in the content owner, right, in the inventory owner's hands. How you set up your CPMs, how you want to monetize, the intelligence you're taking back from the marketplace on, is it a soft market, right? Is there a dearth of inventory? And how you apply that to your direct side of the business, it's the people that have success with us on other channels, that's the core of what they're doing with Prebid, that it works complementary to what you're doing on your direct side. This isn't about dropping your CPMs to 2 cents and throwing it out there. This is about maintaining your CPMs and allowing people that are, on the buy side, that are going to want to buy the way they want to buy, which is usually going to be hands-on keyboard from a programmatic perspective, allowing them to buy it, but that doesn't mean they have to buy it at a suppressed CPM. The value of your inventory is going to be based off the value of your property. I mean, it's just that simple. Has nothing to do with the header bidding solution, programmatic. You're a 10-cent property, you're a 10-cent property. You're a $30 property, you're a $30 property. all we're allowing from a pipes perspective is transparency, that you as the owner see who's touching your inventory. No one's going to be arbitraging your inventory. What you set as the CPM with your SSP partners, that's actually what's being achieved, right? So there's no arbitraging or markup happening that you're not aware of. So, and it's a reciprocal too for the SSPs, right? When you're looking at the value of the inventory they're bringing in, and if you start getting into metrics and viewability and a whole bunch of stuff that the supply side can start looking at, and an SSP can determine the value of a publisher's inventory based off of what they see happening both with the buyers as well as with their publisher partners. So literally we exist to take out all the friction between that and allow the marketplace to accelerate growth, accelerate spend in a transparent way.
Amazing. And so for on the other side, how does this benefit marketers, buyers who are looking to buy digital out of home?
So it's kind of, you get like a seal on the inventory if you know it's going through pre-bid pipes. If you're a buyer, you can ask to see that because honestly, you could see it, right? It's a transparent pipe. So if you're a buyer and you see things going through a pre-bid pipe from an SSP to a DSP, there's some certainty on what you're getting is exactly what you want, right? What you're paying for is what you're actually getting. And you'll be able to transparently track that back as well, not just from a CPM perspective, but inventory perspective. Even from a data perspective, if you're using our data product, you're able to do that as well, right? And yeah, we have a cookieless solution that goes into the market that allows publishers to share their data with SSPs and DSPs anonymously that the buyer can buy, but once that buy is over, that number basically dissipates, right? It doesn't exist in perpetuity. No one can take it and scale it out or do any type of modeling against it. So it's literally from a buy side, it allows to get you where you want and understand what's happening, when it's happening, and have some certainty that what you agreed on is actually what happened. There wasn't three middlemen between you and the publisher.
Yeah, amazing. And I think from an omni-channel perspective, it's really just allowing for buyers to continue to buy digital out of home in similar manner that they buy every other channel, right?
Well, we're looking at it from an omni-channel perspective, particularly when you're connecting it to connected TV, that it's going to become an easier touch point to accelerate revenue for publishers. That if the buyers understand, how to utilize that canvas and that screen correctly, it'll start being attached and appended to connected TV buys, event buys, and a bunch of things that they're doing on their side. And it doesn't matter which DSP they're buying through because the pre-bid pipes go through basically every DSP in the known world, right? And from a publisher side, it allows you to toggle and control what you're sharing with those DSPs based off of everything from your margins to the CPMs, to the type of inventory or the type of deals you want to do with individual holding companies.
Amazing, yeah. Okay, so final question, not to get too technical in this very technical piece, but Mina, can you kind of start off here, really giving us a little bit of background on what a mediation layer is, Prebid's mediation as well, and then we can go into a couple questions if we have some time.
Sure, I'll make it real quick. The technology can get complicated, and even the slide that was just up kind of describes the difference between waterfalls and parallel auctions. But a very, very simple analogy I'd like to use is, imagine that you're a chocolatier and you make chocolate bars. A couple of options is you're going to take your chocolate bars and you're going to go to a store on Monday, right, and you're going to sell it. Then you're going to pick them up and go to another store on Tuesday and try to sell it. You're going to sell chocolate bars. But it makes a lot more sense for you to make sure that your chocolate bars are available in as many stores as you can in parallel, because what you're really trying to do is you're trying to meet the buyer at the store that they're going to at the time that they're going shopping. This is really one of the better analogies I have for what a header bidder or a mediation layer is. It is on the publisher on the sell side, getting a fair, accurate evaluation of your inventory, and this needs to happen kind of in soft parallel real time. And so that is the heart of what we're building for digital out of home within Prebid.
I love that. Mike, do you have anything to add?
Well, yeah, anyone programmatic in the room knows mediation usually means waterfall. So it's like a dirty word if you're in the header bidding space. But for us, we're looking at this mediation layer because of the uniqueness of digital out of home, and even when you get into like in-app and a whole bunch of other places, that the mediation layer would actually, if you attach it to a waterfall, right, the value is lessened versus if you're attaching it to, a Prebid-enabled solution that allows you to manage across all your supply partners at one time, right? And that for us is the core of what we're doing with the mediation layer, that is putting the control in the publisher's hand, right? From a CPM perspective, from an inventory perspective, what you put out, what you hold back. That's kind of the way we're looking at the mediation layer. For us, we don't think a mediation layer should be owned by a company, right? Quite frankly, that's kind of, then you're into like a Google type model where it's trust us, the auctions aren't going to be rigged, or the auctions aren't going to work in our favor. We look at mediation as something that's owned by the entire industry, where the publishers have comfort in what they're seeing, the SSPs have comfort, the DSPs have comfort, that the correct transactions are happening for the correct reasons. Nothing is being rigged or nothing is being artificially inflated, right? Because the mediation layer, if someone owns it, it's usually non-transparent on how they're valuing the bids that are going into a waterfall, right? Where the mediation layer we're going to have will allow you to see all of that, and you as a publisher will control that.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Transparency absolutely is key here.